Thank you, everyone. Kind of going to do things just a little bit different. I don't stand at the podium. I'm going to walk around, try to keep it a little livelier. We're going to do a PowerPoint. Hopefully, Eddie, you can keep up back there, and hopefully everyone else can keep up. So we're going to talk about Prescott Valley, of course, 2020, and we can't start talking about Prescott Valley without talking about the #1 council in Arizona. So, ladies and gentlemen, the majority of them are right here and a little bit back there, so please put a round of applause. The things that happen in Prescott Valley is thanks to them. They come to work every single day with an idea and a vision, and they work hard and tirelessly hours. And I mean, if anyone knows the vice mayor's schedule, it's chaos. And the number of hours she puts in and the number of miles she puts on the road is impressive. So amazing. Thank you. You guys will hear today a little bit of a theme. It'll be an underlying theme, and it won't be apparent at first, but at the end, we're going to kind of circle back around, and hopefully everyone can kind of understand what we're talking about. Brady. Oh, here we go. So, hey, I know you can't read it, probably that part, but what makes Prescott Valley great? I want to hear. The people? Guy, what do you think? No, absolutely not. No. Listen to him, he's trying to, yeah. Him and I worked on that before we got here. He was my plant in the audience. I just had to find him, and that's where it was. Marty nailed it, though, right? This is what it is. You. Every single person in this room makes Prescott Valley amazing. The entrepreneurial attitude, the going to work, the plan every day that you have to be better. Because no one in this room, I'm sure, says, you know what? I'm going to go to work today, and I'm just going to be mediocre. Or I might not even be. I'm probably not going to do anything. Like, who does that, right? Who shows up to work that way? No. No one, for the most part. I mean, Sanford, sometimes I've heard, has slept in his office once in a while, but other than that. But no, seriously, you go to work to make a difference. And that's the goal of Prescott Valley, is we have that attitude. We have that thought of what we're going to do to make things better. And that bleeds out into the community. So there's more people than just in this room, of course, but you're where it starts. So that's important. Today I'm going to talk about, this is interesting. I'm going to back it up. I had Kobe in my PowerPoint before Sunday. And the reason I'm talking about this and what I'm going to talk about is I'm going to talk about things that happen that aren't on our stat sheet. And for those of us that are familiar with sports, and I know Sanford is a big sports guy, there's things that happen that don't make it to a stat sheet, right, Sanford? Things that aren't an assist or a rebound or points. But they're still important, right? They're still important to the team. And Kobe had that. And that's what we're going to talk about here, things that don't make it to our stat sheet. I'm going to leave all the sexy numbers up to Ben. He's going to talk about that after. But these are things that we might not know are going on in Prescott Valley that make Prescott Valley so amazing. So, YMCA. This past year, we've made hoops and bounds in regards to the direction we're going to go for our YMCA in Prescott Valley. And that's huge. For anyone that's been in Prescott Valley a long time, they know that the closest thing to a YMCA is Prescott, and our citizens need more, and they deserve more. And thanks to staff and the community partners, we're able to get there. And we're not quite to the finish line yet, but at least hopefully we can see it. So that's something to look forward to. Post office. We've recognized that the post office is important, and this is more important that we are being recognized at a federal level, that Senator McSally, she came to Prescott Valley. She recognized that we had a need. We had something that was important to Prescott Valley and the citizens, and we are moving in that direction. So that's something that says a lot, not just about it being a post office, but about the attitude around us and the importance of Prescott Valley and how we're growing and how we're going to be better. Here's some other accomplishments we've had. We've had some major road projects get going, right? It's so interesting. I hear people say, we need better roads, or we need things that happen with roads. And then once we get roads going, it's like, gosh dang it, you got construction going on. Well, I don't know how people realize how roads can actually form, but it takes a little bit of work. And thanks to the hard work of staff, some major projects are in place. And although Sunset Lane is not completed, once it is going to go along the lines of creating that connectivity of Prescott Valley, to be able to go from the east side of Prescott Valley to the west side of Prescott Valley, for the most part, with sidewalks, with turn lanes, with bike lanes. And that's important for Prescott Valley. Being a newer town, we need to be able to provide that service to our citizens. So that's something to look forward to. Brady?
I'll tell you what, just point at me and I'll progress.
All right, that sounds good. Another major accomplishment was the Boys and Girls Club here in Prescott Valley. And that came, yeah, give it up for Boys and Girls Club, right? We're gonna get to that. So the Boys and Girls Club, it came about, as I talked earlier, a community effort. People getting together, coming up with a plan, recognizing a need. And that's what created this. And that's why it was so important. And I cannot talk, I mean, I'm gonna talk to you just so you know about the Boys and Girls Club and how important it is. And this comes along with the Dancing for the Stars. You'll see some packets on the table. And I'm gonna do a plug here. Marty, you knew it was coming? I knew it was coming. And I wouldn't be doing my due diligence if I didn't promote this. As some of you know, I'm a dancer for the Dancing for the Stars. They say it's a celebrity dance. I am neither a celebrity nor a dancer, so I don't know how I got selected for this. But nonetheless, all the money that's raised is going towards the Boys and Girls Club here in Prescott Valley. So, and Prescott and Chino. So keep that in mind. All the money stays local, and it is a huge event to help them out. And I cannot emphasize enough, Boys and Girls Club, it helps those kids, I call it upstream, that when we can provide them with some guidance and some support, so that when they make it downstream, they realize that there's some importance to their life and that the gentlemen over there in the uniforms aren't dealing with them for other reasons. So that's the importance there. We need to be able to get behind them. It is a community event, and it's a community staple to Prescott Valley. And if you haven't seen the building or what we've been able to do, Corner Luce and Robert, it is an amazing gymnasium. The Northern Arizona Suns are using it to practice. And you just go there 3 o'clock on a Tuesday, and you'll see these kids running around, and it just reminds me of being 9 years old. Reminds me of realizing how important or how fun it is to get a piece of pizza that you didn't get at home, and that you're there with your friends, and you had some guidance, and someone's helping you out with their homework, and it's because they care. And that's what the Boys and Girls Club does. And we need to make sure we try to do what we can to get behind that. So, Brady, I'm just gonna, this is a Snapchat of me practicing, just so you know, these are some of my moves for my dance. This is what I got going on. This is what everyone can expect. If you're gonna go to the event, this is part of it right here, so. I know, Larry, I don't know, Larry, have you seen this movie, Napoleon Dynamite? No, I figured, it'd be like it would be, Larry, it's your equivalent to like Grease. Like if you were like, your age group would be like seeing Grease, okay? So that's what it is, all right? All right. So unsolicited question from the audience. What was it? Say it.
Who's your toughest competition, Mayor?
Who's my toughest competition? And here's a good thing, and this is what I'm gonna throw out there. The Boys and Girls Club, although it's competitive and we try to raise as much money as we can, right? I mean, it's tough work. You're going out there. No. So here's the thing, though. Yeah, I try to collect as much money and go out there and solicit it as much as possible, but it all goes into the same pot at the end of the day, you know? So it doesn't really matter who raises this or who raises that. It all ends up in the same spot, and that's what is so important about this. And am I competitive? Absolutely. But it's just, I'm just excited to know that our 10 people are going to raise the most money ever. That's what my goal is there. So that's what makes it so important. So, are your moves? Anne-Marie, I got you up here on moves. Are they going to be pretty close to this? Way better. Yeah, I figured that. Dr. Ryan, I'm not going to lie. I am disappointed that Dr. Ryan is not here today, and please let her know that. So, as you notice, I don't even have the remote anymore. I'm just like clicking this at. An important thing, doesn't make the stat sheet. Prescott Valley, the 12th safest city in Arizona, right? Give that up. And it's not by accident. It's not by we just happen to have some good citizens, right? That's not how it goes. It has to do with a community effort. It has to do with our law enforcement. It has to do with the attitude that we put forward for Prescott Valley. I give it a challenge to the chief that we're going to make it in the single digits next year, and we'll see if it happens. But I think as a community, we can make anything happen. So that's what the importance of putting that stat up. We're going to talk about some parks. It's not often that a town or a city puts together a significant size park in their community. So anyone here been to Santa Fe Park? Yes? I seriously have driven by 10 times in the past maybe week, and there's been people utilizing the pickleball courts. I mean, they were out yesterday, and it was cold, and there was a line of people coming out the gate, and it says a lot. It says that the community is out there, they're excited, they're energetic, and they want to be a part of what we have to offer. And it's exciting to be able to open up a new park right on the corner of Glassford and almost near Spouse. We also were able to, in this past year, put together a couple new playground equipment, all-inclusive for Mountain Valley Park and George Anderson. So when we say all-inclusive, that means children of all ages. If they happen to be in a wheelchair, they happen to have some other challenges, they can participate in this playground equipment. And that's huge for Prescott Valley, because as I'm sure some of you can think back to when you were a kid, the playgrounds of death that were out there that weren't very fun, and we didn't quite know what we were going to get into, and usually involved us getting bruises and cuts and scrapes and stuff like that. So this is another opportunity, even if you don't have kids and you want to know the importance of Prescott Valley or we just think about what's important other than our regular lives, go to Mountain Valley Park, check out what's going on, just check out the joy of the kids that are out there having a good time. And that's why we do what we do in Prescott Valley. We increased our water pumping capacity to 7.2 million gallons of water a day. It's the most financial investment that we've ever had in the past 2 years. That says a lot too. Water's a hot topic, right? And hopefully this is a message to our citizens of Prescott Valley that we take water and water conservation serious, that we are going out every day. Staff is going out there coming up with a new idea, a new plan, whether it's an injection well, it's a new well to pump, that we are going to provide water for our citizens for generations to come. Not just next year, not 5 years, but generation after generation. So that's important for everyone to know. Ooh, here's one. Credit rating. We are at the highest credit rating for the town of Prescott Valley that we've ever had. We're AA+. And if you ask Mr. Tark, give it up. Yeah. Larry, what is our goal for next year? AAA. Always got to have a goal, right? We always have to be moving forward, and absolutely, there's no doubt in my mind that we will get there. So says a lot about Prescott Valley, says a lot about council, and just being fiscally conservative and recognizing that we are counting every dollar and every cent and making sure it's being spent wisely. School district. We increased our role and our relationships with the school district. Oftentimes, and I'm sure there's some people in this room that may disagree, but the relationship between a town and a school is important, I believe. And it's important for the school district. And one of the reasons why I think it's important, next slide, Brady. We have 10 schools, 5,800 students, 800 employees that go. That's a significant number, I think, right? It plays a large role in the town of Prescott Valley. And I'm sure Mr. Hooper, he would agree that it also creates an economic driver in our community. And we need to focus on what we're doing in relationships in regards to our students. I just heard a stat literally this morning that Arizona is the second lowest in education in the country. So we're 49th. They included Washington, D.C. into that. Go to our next one. Predictions. This is important. I know Larry Tarkowski says he has a crystal ball in his office, and believe it or not, sometimes he's right on things, and he may have one. You know, I'm not lying. He might have a crystal ball. But we got to think about what's going to happen in 2020. And there's not many things that we can be certain about, but this. Republicans and Democrats will never get along in 2020. It's just not going to happen, right? We are going to have differences. And there's an importance to that, because we can't have that ideology here in Prescott Valley. I tell people that the Republicans and Democrats, that they are a certain party. We need to all be a party of Prescott Valley, because that creates that ownership that we need. If everyone has the same mindset of just having the party of Prescott Valley, we put Prescott Valley first. We put Prescott Valley first in everything we do, and we all want Prescott Valley to succeed. By a show of hands, who here wants Prescott Valley to fail? Just go ahead, raise your hand. No? No one? Okay. I'm glad we're all on that page. See how easy it was? We all agreed, right? It didn't matter. We were all the party of Prescott Valley right there. That's how it works. And we need to know that going forward into 2020. that we need to look out for ourselves in order to be better. We can't rely on Washington, D.C. to make things better for here in Prescott Valley. Governor Ducey is doing an amazing job for our state. But I'm pretty confident he's not lying in bed at night awake thinking, man, I sure hope Prescott Valley does well in 2020. It's just, he has a lot of things going on, right? We have to worry about us. We have to worry about how we're gonna do things better and how we are gonna be better. And that's the important part about being the party of Prescott Valley. The most reliable way to predict the future is to create it. Abraham Lincoln said that. It's interesting, I keep referencing back to Larry T, and Larry T has this little sign in his office as well that has this. And I cannot emphasize that enough. We need to put the effort forward to make things better. So every single day, we need to focus on what we're gonna do to be just a little bit better. And before we know it, come December 2020, we're gonna be leaps and bounds ahead. So that's important. I'm gonna wrap things up with a little quote that my dance partner, Jamie Prochnow, had sent over to me. And for those of you who don't know Jamie, she's an amazing woman, mother of 8 kids, a large number of she's involved in the foster program. You're nodding your head. I know you know who Jamie is. And she truly comes with this attitude. And her and I were talking about how to be successful. And it was just, bear with me, okay? It's gonna be it's Attitude written by Charles Swindoll. It says, the longer I live, the more I realize the impact of attitude on life. Attitude to me is more important than facts. It's more important than the past, than education, than money, than circumstances, than failures and successes, and what other people what other people think, say, or do. It is more important than appearance, giftedness, or skill. It will make or break a company, a church, a home. The remarkable thing is we have a choice every day regarding the attitude we embrace for the day. We cannot change our past. We cannot change the fact that people will act in a certain way. We cannot change the inevitable. The only thing we can do is play the one string we have, and that is our attitude. I am convinced that life is 10% of what happens to me and 90% of how I react to it. If we take that attitude every single day, we're not gonna change what gets sent to us. We're not gonna change, the curveballs that life throws, but we are gonna change how we react to that. So I just ask that if we think about that every single time, we are gonna be successful in 2020. As Eric said and as Marnie said, the future is looking bright for us. So with that being said, thank you, folks.